So, hello, Lisa. I created this invitation to talk about money as part of Money Club experiment, and also because this is one of my edge in my life. And I am kind of sensing that many other possibilitator or other people in possibility management might need distinctions there. So I don't really know where we are going with this distinct discussion, but what I want to know as a start is how you made the shift from having a regular job to being a possibilitator, and what were maybe your main stepping stones for
Mhm.
being a possibilitator and handling money energy.
Mhm. Um, so the shift itself was an energetic one, where I could let go of every belief or thoughts that it should be in one specific way. And until or unless I could get to this energetic shift, I for myself made some some tricks. I tricked myself somehow. I was first in a corporate job, 40 hours a day. And when I sensed, okay, what I'm doing is not serving my purpose, is not serving the archetypal lineage, I got so fed up with it that I had to quit. And with that quitting the job, there was a lot of energy released in me where I said, whoa, fear, what am I doing now with that? And with that fear, and then back then I haven't worked with my emotional fear so far, or I was not able to handle that fear. And I clinched back onto half-part jobs, half-time jobs. And what I did, I chose these jobs which were also serving my purpose, where I had the possibility to work as a coach in a corporate job and at the same time have more space to unfold what I want to do, and also to go through my own emotional healing processes. And this was a good in-between step for me to build up this matrix in order to see that I'm not dying. Like, if I'm not dying if there is not this regular income. And my last tricking myself was that I supposed to myself that I did it's called a sabbatical, like a year off. And in this year off, I allowed myself to live from all of my savings. So it was not about oh God, I will die if I don't make it through that year, but I allowed myself to use my savings. And it never happened, because in this year I did what I loved, and my bank account did not like go down, or I did not scratch a point where I said, fuck, now I'm freaking out again. And this was the energetic shift, to see that when I do what I love, then universe is taking care of my of me, or my what I need in life. And I could also relax more and more into an instability of letting go of that mindset that money has to come in a certain flow, like monthly, every month the same amount of money. And so mainly it was working really with my emotional fear and letting go of these old behaviors.
Yes. What I hear is somehow a death of a mimetic construct that you had about money,
Mm-hmm.
or yeah, a death of an old software, the sabbatical experiment.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. I
Yeah, what also helped me a lot was I remember that Clinton Callahan did once an experiment with us in a trainer training, and he asked us to grab our purses where we carry the money in, and asked us, okay, go and count the money you're having in. And back then, I haven't had a lot of money in my purse, and it showed me somehow my status I was in. I was afraid of it, that I could lose this money, that I could lose my wallet. I was afraid that I could spend this money, that something bad would happen. And I did the experiment he proposed, which was to carry at least 500 euros in my wallet with me all the time. And it worked. In this case of that I knew that I do have the money to be what's the word, to be flexible, to listen to the offers of Echo and say, okay, I'm going to do this, to have my passport with me all the time and a bunch of money. And with that flexibility, I also gained that the trust in universe, and the universe somehow could trust me, that if I can handle this amount of money, it can send me also more money. Sounds maybe weird, but this is also an energetic shift. Do you trust yourself with money? If you do you trust yourself, universe can trust you and can send you more. And it's not about clinching on it or holding on it, and I need to save it so for being secure for worse times, or when I'm retired, for example, then that I have this money, but having the money in flow and using the money for your own projects, which creates this the stream or the need for the universe to send you the next money.
I had a similar experience because I lived many times in my life in money scarcity.
Mm-hmm.
And somehow now in my life, it's becoming better. Having a new flow of money in my life. And I could see the energetic shift. Like I was really clinging on money. And when this stopped, I could really, or I can more be relaxed, and I'm losing less money.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning that this scarcity I had about money was making me somehow addictive to a fear of losing it. And therefore I was losing it. So I'm still on the edge of this experiment and wondering which new one I can make. And the one experiment I'm making right now is going from wanting to wanting. Meaning I want to do something, then I do it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I experiment. And I compost if it doesn't work. Did you make some similar experiment with your wantings, or being afraid of following your wantings because you would have to spend money for your, I don't know, going to a lab or doing something that you really care for or whatever?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there are several experiments and also decisions I made. And the experiments were about what is my non-material value. So what am I creating in the world, which doesn't have to do anything with money making, but which comes out naturally out of me. And then I asked myself the question, okay, Lisa, what would happen if you lose all your money right now, today? I just went through that this experience or that experiment, and feeling all that fear all the way down to the bottom, like, okay, now I'm having like 0. And then I figured out it doesn't matter, because there is this non-material value coming out of me anyhow. And with that, I can create or provide for the money or any other resources I do need to do my livings. And so this is experiment 1. Please go through all the fear layers. What would happen if you lose your money today? Second is get your team and find out what is your non-material value. What comes out of you anyhow? What is what you're doing? And there was a third one. I just dropped it. Maybe it comes back later.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it brings me a lot of fear when you say it. Like I can sense the fear still packed in my system from this scarcity and clinging to money
Mm-hmm.
and and somehow because it's kind of one of the main center of attention in modern culture
Mm-hmm.
and one of the main taboos, like things that are not discussed
Yeah.
in modern culture.
The third thing came back, which is about I do have a pot or a bank account which is dedicated to projects and transformation. So I'm paying in this bank account money I know that I will spend on transformational journey and projects. And there is no question what this is important to me. And therefore, there is always enough money for me that I can do the next training, where I can attend the next training, where I can do these crazy experiments of, okay, what would happen if I invest in something, in an idea, and maybe the idea itself fails or doesn't come to life, but it was not me about no, I did a failure or I lost money. It was about this money was dedicated to do these experiments. So experiment 3 for you could be get yourself what's called a money pick or a bank account where you put in your transformation money and use this generously.
Yes, I started created this by having different bank accounts and putting some money there for some project and some money there for, yeah, just for, I don't have really clarity, but I started like dividing the money that I have in order to handle it differently.
Mm-hmm.
That was my first idea. And yeah, so I'm up to do this experiment too more clearly.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I feel fear about asking you, what was your main challenge about it? What was your, let's say, one of the biggest thing that you had to go through for in relation to money?
Becoming visible. Because in a corporate job, I could always hide behind any authority and giving my center away, which means if something went wrong, it was the boss's or the corporate's fault. And I was paid anyhow. And with being self-employed, with being a possibilitator, I took back my center and being my own authority and being visible. And everything I did had an instant feedback from the outside. And so I could really sense, okay, when I'm doing this, it showed itself also in the money flow. And to also unlink my old software of that it has to be an instant feedback. Because sometimes I just do stuff what I love and there is no money income for that. And I'm not freaking out about this because I know that what I'm doing is feeding a game world or is creating next culture. And I can relax into that universe will take care of me.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, thank you. It's still one of my age too. And what I discovered in my money investigation is that there was something like giving my center to money somehow. It's like Money sometimes is still an equivalent of love, like the love that I didn't receive, or the as a child, or certainty, because I have this money in this bank account. I can be safe. I can just decide with my center, with what I really want and what I really care. And yeah, I feel that there is still some experiment to make there. I don't know which one, but I'm looking forward to do it.
Yeah. And I mentioned once there is a fantasy world about money still existing. Like money would be a safe thing. And
Yeah.
reality shows differently. We are believing in a system of 1 and 0, like a digital world, and at the same time it's just digits. So if someone would press the button and I would be poor instantly. So how come that I'm believing into a system where we are printing money over and over and over, and we are in an inflation rate? And this is the questions, where do I give my center to? Do I relate on my non-material value or on another system? Because we have played this game, the financial game, for so many decades.
Yeah.
It is also somehow to make this game world money obsolete, to not have the money in the center of what you're doing, but
Yeah.
having the money maybe as a side effect to, for now, that you can pay your rent or that you can buy yourself food, but it's not in your center of what you're doing.
Yeah. I think that you pronounce a word that keep coming is relating. And it still feels like sometimes when I think about money, I have it against relating. It's like this creation of relation, because when I feel responsible for money, for example, or for this money energy, I don't know how to call it, because behind money there is a lot of construct, is this importance of relating. How do I relate with others, and what I want to create in regards of my friends? Am I honest with where am I at with, or not? Am I hiding this topic somehow? And I feel, also fear about asking you, did you made also experiment about sharing where you are at with money with other friends or relative, or
Constantly.
yeah.
So when I opened up to have money not as a secret private thing, then I could change my relating to money. Because how I was brought up in the corporate job is, you do not talk about money. This is impolite to ask someone else about money, and that is total bullshit. Because when I'm open with that, how I might struggling, or what I think, what I could ask for as money, it is a really an open conversation. And how should you and how should I even transform or doing our next steps if we do not do this reality checks with each other? And there I could also sense how my relation to her relating to money changed when I started, for example, doing coachings, and I had all these belief sentences of, oh yeah, it's just me, another coach, I'm not good enough, I cannot charge any money for that, I'm not worth it. And that's how I ask my clients for money, like lowering what I'm asking for. My center was with someone else. And working through that old emotions brings you to the point where you say, okay, this is what I want, or this is how I want to work with you. How do you feel and think about it? And maybe you work with that person or not, or it opens up their emotional processes about it.
Yeah, it's like this fear of negotiating somehow, or just putting the mud on the table, like, just, okay, what is the matter? Like, the real matter.
Yeah. And it even brings up the belief systems of the person you're working with. Anyhow, there's so many people out there saying, oh, I want to do this, but I don't have money. And then you start asking questions, and then you find out, actually, there is a lot of money on a bank account, for example. But there's only a fear or a belief system, I'm poor, and therefore I cannot pay another person money. And then you're already in the coaching, or then you're already in the money talking.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's also amazing to do experiments, because sometimes there are periods where there is maybe not so much money, but what else can you give or do as an exchange? And it doesn't even has to be for the coach or the trainer, but it can be for Gaia, for cleaning up beaches, seeding trees, working in permaculture, giving something back to Gaia on a different way. And one of the biggest lessons I've ever learned was from a mentor. He's not in a possibility management context, but what he said is, Lisa, life is not fair in terms of paying back one-to-one. It's not about, if I'm coaching you, you owe me back. Because he was mentoring and coaching me a lot, and I was like, I can never pay you back. And he said, you don't have to. Life is like a waterfall, and I'm feeding you, and you're feeding the next person, and this person is feeding the next person, and so you keep also the money floating. And as soon as I understood that, I was like, true relaxing in all of my bodies.
Yeah. I can sense that. And yeah, this kind of rules about fair exchanges, or or debt, even debt.
Yeah.
What would be debt in a next culture?
Yeah. And I mean, there is a website, becomingmoney.mystrikingly.com, and there's so many experiments on that. So if there are any doubts in you of, okay, how can I become money, or how can I relate to money, go and do each of these experiments.
Yeah. One question that is coming to me is, what is your age right now regarding money? What is your
thinking bigger?
Yeah.
It is a constant growing. A couple of years ago, I had, like, let's say 1,000, 2,000 euros on my bank account, and I was balancing what I'm doing around this. And I was like, no, it's not becoming less, it's not becoming more. And I was stuck there. And now I'm stuck on another level of money. And my edge is, how can I even totally let go of any story, how my relating to money should be, that money is there when it's needed, or money comes from sources I never thought of, because I'm not dedicated to money, or do the lonely wolf thing, or create it out of myself, but being in that bigger game world thinking of, that's what I want to create, and the resources will somehow flow? Or how can I invite the resources for doing that?
Yeah, it seems like cavitating or declaring something new.
Yeah. Ah.
Okay. Do you have something else related to money? Do you want to bring in the space like
Yeah, start today. Not saying, yeah, one time when, or yeah, that's a nice idea, but really do your first experiment today. And even if it's not even, start with the purse experiment. Put in there more money, carry that around with you, and see how your relating is changing, because you become that flexible person in your life.
Yes. Yeah. I feel joy about this experiment, and yeah, I will start a new journey to invite other possibilitator to share about this topic.
Cool.
Thank you
Thank you.
for being there with me on this first step.
Thank you, Gabriel. Thank you for doing these interviews and experiments.
Thank you. See you.
See you.